Podcast, your home for... Nope, it's not. And now it's recording.
Here we are! Here we are!
Okay, I was looking at my second screen, looking at the podcast notes. What happened? Did you think the countdown was the recording or something?
No, because it counted down, but then it didn't start recording, and it was weird.
Oh.
Yeah, either way.
Or it might have. I don't know. It says it's been going for 25 seconds, so who knows?
Either way, hello, podcast listeners, and welcome back to the Jersey Nerds Podcast, your home for debates and discussions surrounding sports, uniforms, hockey, jersey design, and more. I've got that memorized now. Isn't that cool? And podcast listeners and video watchers, because we do have this up on YouTube. Who's got the most impressive Oh, it's definitely Hunter. I was going to say, who's got the best background? And Hunter. I've just got a boring wall. Bpoe's is, a nice Penguins theme wall, so I respect that a lot, but then you can't beat all those jerseys. I'm sorry, you just can't.
I've got a better background than I did last episode, and by last episode, it hasn't come out yet, and might not be out before this one comes out. I'm gonna, put a little disclaimer. Yeah, I'm gonna put a little disclaimer at the beginning of that, but basically, the short of it is that Chris has edited pretty much every episode to this point, and God bless him, I don't know how he did it, but it's not sustainable. So I've been working on a new process for that, and it's taking longer than I thought it was going to. That's the short of it. And I'll put that before the podcast when it comes out to kind of explain that, because we recorded it on May 23rd. I had just gotten home from school. I just graduated the day before, and everything was a mess, even more than it is now. So my background is like a plain white wall with terrible lighting.
So we've been away for a little while because Hunter and Bpoe recorded an episode a couple weeks ago. From
Justin was in that one too, as well.
Oh, was he now? I was absent from that, so I apologize.
Who's Justin?
We don't know, but either way, there's just been nothing but technical issues as far as editing that episode, and so that hasn't come out. And so, guess what? There's enough news, and we've been away for a while. We wanted to get back into it, record another one here. So yeah, here we are, and ready to go. And Hunter, is that an Expos jersey you're wearing?
Yeah. My boys.
That's pretty cool. So I was looking at different Expos jerseys a few weeks ago. And it's funny because they had I feel like everybody thinks of the powder blue ones and the royal blue ones, but then they near the end of their history, they it was a good 10 years, but they just had a completely different look that everyone's completely forgotten. Is that fair? Because they went with gray road uniforms and they just had a block Montreal across the front, I think. And it was
that time, because weren't the Blue Jays doing something similar at the same time too, with just the basic block font?
Remember the Blue Jays they had a black jersey, it just said Jays across it, and that was their thing for oh, that was sad.
What a time.
And then Bpoe, as usual, has got a Pens jersey on. I don't even care who it is. I can tell
this
who
time it is a new jersey in my collection. It is the Pittsburgh Penguins reverse retro.
Oh boy, the reverse retro
on the back of it.
The reverse retro that just looks like another Penguins jersey
and I'm wearing this jersey as I proudly cheer on this Penguins team for their deep cup run with the great team. Wait, what's that? What's that I hear? Christian? No, Tristan Jarry. Oh right, Tristan Jarry. That happened. Oh man.
Yeah, the guy that it's so funny thinking back Marc-Andre Fleury now, because if anybody in the Penguin situation years ago, it's we can only protect one of our goalies. Duh, you're going to protect the younger guy that still seems good. And yet it's funny how this many years later, Fleury is still better than Matt Murray or Tristan Jarry. And it's just
it is kind of funny how that worked, but again, like you said,
you couldn't predict that.
2017, the expansion draft comes around. You're taking the younger guy with a lot of potential rather than the older guy who's good, but you don't know how much longer. And it's funny how many Pens fans want Fleury back now, which I'd love to see him back on the team for sentimental reasons. But it's funny because of how take him. It's funny how he had I said Fleury, not Murray. But
No. They're the same.
Okay. I thought you meant take Murray back from the Senators.
Matt-Andre Fleury.
Matt-Andre Fleury.
It's funny considering that Fleury had these same type of playoff struggles whenever he was younger. 2 2009, I actually saw a stat that he had a fantastic goaltending performance in 08 and they lost, and then not a great one in 09 and the Pens won. But like after that, early 2010s, he had a couple of not so good years in the playoffs, and now everybody wants him. It's goaltending is voodoo. Like, what else
NHL
do you say?
goaltending is so weird because most of these guys, they don't debut in the NHL till they're like in their late 20s, right? And then suddenly they're just and then suddenly they're too old. It's weird.
And then Matt Murray won 2 cups as a rookie at like what? How old was he?
I don't even how old. Yeah,
I don't know.
Jeez. It's just such a weird. It's just such a weird, and there's really nothing like it, and just it's weird. It's not like you're a. I mean, I guess like baseball pitchers, like they'll make their debuts at different times, and then like they might play a little bit, and then get back down, or they might stay. Who knows? It's weird. Anyway,
didn't Tim Thomas have his peak at like 30 or in his 30s whenever he won the cup with the Bruins? That was pretty much his.
That man got drafted by the Quebec. That man got drafted by the Quebec Nordiques and won a cup with the Bruins in 2010. Like what?
It was funny because 2011 was the year that I like really started watching. Like it was probably like that playoff run with the Bruins where I first like started paying attention to hockey. And I was like, whoa, the Bruins are good. They have this big guy named Chara, and they have this goalie named Thomas. And then like a year later, like Thomas was just gone for the team. And I'm just like, I thought he was their goalie. Like, what? Like, me being a child, not understanding that people have ages. And especially when you're like learning about a new sport, you might like, oh, this is a star. And then you just realize like, oh, he's 39 and he's been doing this for so long. That's why he's a star. It's interesting,
yeah.
Anyway, for this episode, we had our topics all figured out, and then right before we recorded, some incredible news broke. And honestly, that's the kind of stuff we love. We love just about to do, and then boom, you get an immediate reaction to something. And so our topics are still going to be.
When we say that it just happened, we were having a little talk beforehand. I checked Icethetics in specific here to add a link for something else. I come back like 20 minutes later and boom, here it is. Like that's literally like how sudden it was.
And like we just want to say shout out to Chris and Icethetics for all the amazing sudden high quality work that he does, because we're talking about similar subjects, but we're definitely doing different things. So we're happy to we're appreciative of all the news breaking kind of work that he does over there. Anyway, our topics were going to be the CFL's Edmonton Elks being that new team name with a new team logo, and the NHL Draft Logo as well being unveiled. And spoiler, it's actually not the same as the past 10 or however many they've had that have had a similar template. But anyway, the breaking news that we have that we're going to talk about is that we have an NHL jersey leak. And not the leek that you grow in your garden. The Stadium Series is something that was supposed to happen and didn't happen, and we're not really sure when it's going to happen. The Stadium Series that was going to take place somewhere in, I forgot exactly where, in Carolina. No, North Carolina, not Carolina. Carolina's an idea, but there are North Carolina and South Carolina for those who are not familiar with American geography. And the Carolina
Is it not
Hurricanes,
taking place in Raleigh where they play?
I mean, I don't. Right? There's some stadium. I don't remember exactly the stadium.
Oh, okay. Up. Yeah, same.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll figure that out. Look it up. But anyway, we have a retail leak for the Carolina Hurricanes Stadium Series jersey, and yeah. So what we have is a black jersey, red numbers, red nameplate. The logo on the front of it is a black and red version of their primary Hurricane logo. On the inside collar, we have the Hurricane warning flag. And the sleeves, I'd say probably about a third sleeve, a half sleeve. No, it's probably about a third of the sleeve is red on the top. Everything else is black. It's got a black number on the red part of the sleeve. We have italicized block numbers on the back and an italicized nameplate too. And on the bottom of the jersey, it's kind of interesting here. It looks like just a single red stripe, but then when you single pretty thin red stripe, then you look a little closer, you see there's another stripe underneath it of the same thickness that's definitely gray, like the gray they have on their current black alternate. Either
does
way,
it on the sleeves as well.
Oh yes, it does. It's so dark and
neat.
so like.
The pictures aren't exactly the highest of quality, for sure.
No, they're retail images. So, but anyway, you have black paired with extremely dark gray and red, making that stand out from it. Okay, so guys, what do we got? What are we thinking?
I think it kind of just takes their current alternate, the style of it, and puts it into, I think, what's a more appropriate context for it being a stadium series. And there's a couple of things that stand out to me all of a sudden. For one, I like that they have the primary logo on there because it means that hopefully they're not moving away from that one. Because I think it's the best logo for the front of their jerseys, at least for what they have in their arsenal right now. And for two, I really like the text treatment on the back, the font. I usually don't like italicized fonts. It kind of works here. I kind of like it. And honestly, I don't think I'd mind it full time for them if they went with something like this on the primary home and away jersey, to be honest.
Ooh. Hot take?
I was also trying to find. There it is. So I don't know if any of you guys remember. Probably not, because it was a minor Twitter reaction or Twitter interaction. But the Penguins, I think their debut with these reverse retros was against the Rangers, and so the Hurricanes responded to a Penguins tweet and said, "Bold move wearing these against the inventors of Diagonal." And seeing this, I'm like. And, the rumored opponent for this is the Penguins. And I think bold move using the upper sleeve fill against, not the inventors of it, but, I'd say the Penguins are probably the team that popularized it, huh? Bold move wearing the upper sleeve fill against the team that popularized it.
Okay, but we're forgetting the most important part. Chris, is that a puppy?
I don't know. Chris, you're also muted if you're trying to talk. I don't know what happened. His video turned off for a bit, and all of a sudden he's back with a puppy.
So yeah, okay. I'm still I'm at my family's house now, and somebody needed to watch the new puppy. And so, even though I'm recording, that's me right now.
I love everything about this episode. This is the best episode we've ever recorded already.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention.
Do you think your puppy is just recording a podcast? How about you?
No, I think he's just biting my hand. Yeah,
just doing everything he can to stop Chris from recording a podcast.
For sure. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
Either way, back to the jersey. I don't know. I am firmly cemented in the middle on this one. I think there are some small improvements that they've made to it compared to their alternate that I think work. I don't know. I'm still not a huge fan of like the gray on black treatment that they got, especially with the stripes and the shoulder patches on this one. Is there even a point in complaining about the sleeve numbers? It's a Stadium Series jersey; they all look like that,
Yeah.
I will admit that the font looks really good on the back. Like I think the number and name font looks really good. I like it. And I feel like at least from the photos, it looks like the red is brighter. So I think that that's a good improvement in terms of if they're going to go black heavy with that gray. My favorite part of this whole uniform set, I'm hoping, is that because it's a Stadium Series jersey, that they don't wear ads and they bring back the 3D logos on the helmets because they would match perfectly with it's the same logo, right? That black and red 3D treated logo that they had. So I would like to see those come back at least. Otherwise, I don't know. Like it's a cool jersey, but like we've talked before at length about how Stadium Series jerseys, at least for me, are kind of the ones that like want to see a team go a little outside the box. And I don't really feel like Carolina did that here. Like they just took their alternate and was like, yeah, we'll make some slight adjustments and we'll call it a day, you know? Like I feel like there's a lot that they could have done that they could have went like nuts with that I think could have been cool, but they just didn't. It's fine.
I was gonna say too, what's interesting to me is that the seemingly two color thing has come back. You know, the Penguins and Flyers had it in 19. And for a second I was trying to remember if another one was in between that, and it was the Kings and Avs. I kind of blanked on that for a second.
Do the Kings even really count? They're two color all the time.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, I mean, the Kings, though, have, you know, black, white, gray. At least that's 3 different shades. This is literally just red, black, nothing. I mean, I guess it's kind of gray, now that I think. But, like, for the most part, it just blends in. Like, the shoulder patch, I think, is the place where it, you know, stands out the most.
Yeah.
So for the most part, the whole 2-color thing is coming back, which is interesting. And it makes me, I would love to see the Penguins in yellow if the Penguins are the opponent. That would be cool to see again. Now that I think about it, I wonder if that's why they wore the yellow ones this year in the playoffs, because they knew a yellow stadium series could have been coming. I don't know.
Maybe we'll never know.
But now that this leak is out there, I gotta wonder. Is it just me too? It probably just is the photos, but the jersey almost looks fake. The materials look really weird, but
there are parts of it that concern me.
Yeah. Like the numbers especially look really off, but like if you look at the shoulder patch and the like shoulder and like the dots, those look fine, like what I'd expect from Adidas. So I don't know what to take from that.
Yeah, either way for me, I mean, we know how much we dislike black jerseys, but like it with the for an outdoor game, like if Carolina's gonna embrace the black, like at least they're doing something that has a lot of red to help to, you know, balance that out and complement it. I'm happy to see, again, like everybody else, I'm happy to see their primary logo on the front of this because that's their best logo and they should be using more of it. And everything else about this feels okay. It feels pretty underwhelming. I hate the fact that they're embracing the use of, you know, dark gray or kind of this parley looking material. Just from a design perspective, like if you want to do that for the whole jersey, I think that would have looked better than just using a different one stripe of it underneath a red stripe because it just,
honestly,
it just
that would look pretty cool for a stadium series.
Honestly, yeah, but it just blends in so much with the black, and there's no way that's going to be that visible. I like the italicized font. It's kind of a callback to, you know, their old uniforms from almost 15, 20 years ago now when they won the cup and they had an italicized font. Even though this is just a standard block font, it's still not bad there. But yeah, this jersey is just going to look like you have a little red in the sleeves and one red stripe across, and then everything else is, you know. I mean, I guess if they're going to go mostly just black and red, it's better to have a black jersey with red numbers than a red jersey with black numbers, just from a legibility standpoint. And so I guess that's better. At the same time, it's like, I find it really strange that they're choosing to embrace black over red, just in general. And they're really going all in on this. And also, can we agree the Penguins and Blackhawks should be banned from all further Stadium Series competitions? Just like, please, like, stop putting them in, please. Just put anybody else. We don't care about your stupid markets.
Penguins,
just
Blackhawks,
please, somebody.
Flyers.
We could stand the I think we could stand the Flyers, but just like it's just those two. Just every time, like we're running out of ideas for jerseys because people are just
from
like
a standpoint of let's get some new teams in there. Yeah, I can agree.
Because people are saying like,
I want to see more jerseys. Sure,
we don't care about that standpoint.
I know. I'm not going to complain as a Pens fan. However, like
your problem,
I mean, I get why they do it, but like, come on. Like
your problem is that you're just like you were just a few minutes ago. You were like, "Oh, I want to see the Pens in a yellow jersey outside." I'm like, "We already saw that. It already happened.
Yeah,
what more do you want?" God,
I want a different one. I want a slightly darker yellow.
I want the nameplate.
Vegas gold. No, thank
you. I want the nameplate to be in cursive.
Oh,
That'll make it different.
Kwasby.
That's not what that means. Did you think cursive just meant replacing your R's with W's?
No, it's just a mess of script. You're not gonna be able to read it.
I'm trying to think of like Aston Reese in cursive on the back of a jersey.
Oh my god!
You gotta make the numbers.
Numbers are flipped upside down this time.
Numbers are just like what more can you do? Yeah, like I'm glad.
No, here's what happens.
We've decided.
Here's what you do. It's like you take the sleeve numbers and you put them where the nameplate should go, and you split the name in half and put half of it on each arm.
I was gonna say, this is the
time
where we change it up.
You get one arm that's Ast and one arm that's Reese. But then
you change it up this time, and
B or something. I don't know.
We put the back numbers on the sleeves and the sleeve numbers on the back. It's like, no.
It's funny you say that, but that actually would make a difference for a lot of teams, because I know I've mentioned before teams like the Penguins do have, slightly wider and wider numbers on the sleeves than on the back, so that would actually make a difference, funny enough.
Oh, I mean, leave them the same size though. So the upper arm is just all number. And then the back is literally just two sets. And then the back is literally just two sets of the same number but smaller right next to each other.
Oh god, I couldn't even.
No,
could you even get? I feel like one number would just wrap entirely around the arm to begin with.
It's a number per sleeve, so the 8's on one arm, the 7's on the other.
Again, I'm super happy to see a stadium series coming to Carolina, there to Raleigh, and it was supposed to take place this past February, but of course we know why that didn't happen. So I think it's great that fan base is getting something. But at the same time, it's stadium series designs, outdoor game designs. You're trying to find this weird balance, because if something is too plain or not that much out of the box, kind of like this one is here, it's fine, it works, but it's not great. We're not happy, we're not satisfied. But then if you go too crazy, like the Avs and Kings did, or whatever, you're simultaneously it's too weird and it's somehow it doesn't work, and so stadiums, you're trying to find this weird balance. Plus you're considering the matchup as well. How is one uniform going to look against the other? And so there's just so many strange things considered, and I get it's hard to find that balance, but it's hard not to be underwhelmed at most of these designs. Carolina has you have so many elements that you could pull out. You have this amazing red that you could go with, and you could try to balance out the red and black, and you just went with black with a little red, and for some reason a really dark gray. And you have this amazing hurricane flag warning pattern. That's something that could be a defining element of a jersey that could help people identify and recognize your franchise for years to come. Because I feel like iconic
Coyotes and Kachina.
Right, you have something that people can look at and recognize, and yet your franchise has decided to go with a black jersey with a gray yoke and a logo on the front that's not even yours as your primary jersey during the playoffs. And then we've been over that before, but then you get an outdoor game that's going to be on national television. It's good job, you put your actual logo on it, but then it's just your defining element of it is it's red and black and has a little gray, and you put something that people could really be drawn to and remember on the inside collar. And there are the casual fan is going to get the stadium series mixed up with the alternate that is home for the playoffs. Those two black jerseys, they're going to get them mixed up. If any team has there's two jerseys that are the exact same color and they don't do enough things different, even if they do enough different, people still get them mixed up. What am I thinking of? What teams that, I mean, I guess there are multiple NHL teams that have homes and alternates that are the same base color. Of course, you got to make them sit. I hate Vancouver. I hate that Vancouver does that, because their home jersey is so nice, and then their alternate is just so much worse compared to that. But it doesn't do enough different, to make it that crazy, So I guess the font change is a nice thing. There are good elements to this jersey, but to me, it's cool, but it feels whatever at the same time.
I don't know how I didn't realize how much of a missed opportunity it was to not have that warning flag on here. Like, they could easily have that on every jersey. And, like, granted,
Yeah.
I think this is way better than their current alternate, because one of my issues, too, with the gray on that current alternate is, why is it on the shoulder and pretty much nowhere else? Like, it's not really balanced. It's balanced on this one, at least. And there's more red, so, like, I'd take this over the current alternate any day. But it's not saying it's perfect. And again, I think my favorite thing about this is the font. Like I said, I honestly could see them going to that on their home and roads. I think it fits pretty well with where they're going branding wise.
Agreed.
And like on its own too, I have no problem with the Hurricanes using a black jersey with red accents for a stadium series. I think the issue is kind of like you said, where they also seem to be taking that alternate and prioritizing it over their red home at the same time. Like, go with the black as a secondary option, keep red for your primary,
For sure. Hurricanes aren't even black. Like,
are they red?
depends how many people die in them, I guess. I don't know.
Jesus. That got dark.
Wow.
No. Jesus did not die in a hurricane. That's not. Don't go spreading falsehoods. Okay, that's not how that works. Okay, I think it's and again, part of me feels a little bad for like we come down hard on jersey leaks without seeing the full uniform, and so like there's a chance this could look like, what if they go with like red equipment and everything else, and it's like, whoa, that balances out. What's like, who knows what they're gonna do? We don't. And again, you got to see how it's going to look against the opponent when it comes to a single outdoor game, But either way, like from a marketing standpoint, I get why they went black with red accents, because that's what the fans are gonna probably, want or gravitate towards. Is it gonna look incredible? No, but like it'll look fine. It'll look nice. Good for them. The problem with black jerseys, like they work fine in other sports because other sports aren't playing on a white surface. So when you end up with an all black thing on a white surface, it's
I mean, like, I think they work better in other sports, but I still don't like them in other sports a lot of times. I still like to see that splash of color,
Yeah, no, it will.
Or extra splash of color, I should say.
I guess the key is to not go all black, because then you're just completely devoid of any hope. Like I'm thinking of, like NFL football. Like I think of that. Like when the Atlanta Falcons go all black, it's just like, okay, the white number is the only thing that stands out here. Everything else is sad. When the Oakland Raiders, oh darn it, they're not Oakland anymore. They're Las Vegas now. Gosh dang it, I'm never gonna get used to that. When the Las Vegas Raiders, they wear the black jersey. They have a silver helmet, silver pants.
Oakland Raiders,
and it's the lost Oakland Raiders. Silver helmet, silver pants. When you have that balance of black and silver, like that works out. It looks classic and good. But when you have like a black helmet, black, like in any sport, really, like. I'm grateful that you don't really see that in baseball. You don't see black pants, which is a good thing because that would be really bad.
You don't get black, you get white and gray, and that's about it.
Okay, I'm talking about using pants to have a contrasting color.
Oh, okay.
Because like, I think of the worst black jersey in baseball right now, which we've agreed upon, is the Miami Marlins black jersey, which has black text on a black jersey and then just like colored outlines on everything. It's like, no, it doesn't work. If that had black pants with it, oh my gosh, that would be even worse somehow. Like, yeah. And of course,
what they should do? They should wear just bright pink pants with that jersey.
That'd make it better.
Honestly,
that'd be an improvement.
Would. Don't they have pink in their color scheme? Right?
It's like I think they call it caliente red.
Okay.
It's definitely more of a red, but against their bright blue, it looks kind of pinkish.
Yeah.
Muy caliente, yeah.
I was gonna say, is it like?
And a guy from Ottawa just tried speaking Spanish.
Blue.
Tried. I did.
Try.
Come on, it was 2 words. Don't like. Come on. I wasn't sitting here struggling over a whole sentence. Give me a break.
Here, hold on. Let me try. Hola. How's that?
Hola.
I'm sorry, Spanish listeners. If there's anybody listening that
What makes
Spanish,
you think there are?
I mean, like bilingual people.
You're a bunch of white men wearing hockey jerseys and talking about
Hola,
ice.
como estes?
It reminds me of those things like quick side topic, the memes that just use terrible English. And so imagine speaking another language and that's your first introduction to this language.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. There's somebody in like Sweden that somehow finds this and it's like, oh, como estes?
Como estes?
Me llamo Bjorn.
Stop. Me llamo.
And don't get me started on all black uniforms in hockey because I experience that way too often. So yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that Stadium Series uniform ends up looking like, and yeah. So let's move on to the topic that we were actually planning to talk about. Initially, this was going to be our lead main topic because it's not every day you see a professional sports team get a new name, especially when they're at, not a minor league team. We're talking about like the big boys, I guess. And that's the CFL, the Canadian Football League. For a while, we've had the Edmonton football team, or the EE football team, we call them size, because they had a name that many people would consider offensive to Indigenous peoples. I'm going to say it wasn't as egregious as the Washington NFL name, for sure. It definitely wasn't a literally colorful slur. But either way, it was something that they decided to go and change. And after, them taking the time to consult, and I guess they had the advantage of the CFL didn't play this whole past year, right, Hunter? Or Beaver? No.
They are so desperate to get something going because the government won't let them play that like they're doing that whole joint venture with the XFL, which might become a thing, might not. We don't know.
But they said not until They said not until 2022 for that though, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it hasn't died yet though. They continue to talk about it, so like.
Oh gosh, that's
might
interesting.
Be a thing. Might be cool. I don't know. It might be the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I definitely have more respect for the CFL and the XFL, at least at this point in time. But either way, they've had a classic green and gold look for as long as I've known, and just like a team that you want to have a name and a team that you want to get things right. And I think they have. We now have the Edmonton Elks. They keep the kind of EE consistent thing. And apparently, as I heard, the Edmonton Elk were a previous name from long time ago of something in Edmonton. So there's a little history there. And they have a completely new logo for that. The logo is kind of not super abstract, but kind of a nice interpretation of an elk. And it's got an antler, of course. And then that antler has become a secondary logo. And also, amazingly enough, we've seen just a glimpse we've seen their helmets. We've not seen their full uniform yet, but their helmet has the antler on it. Just the antler, which I think is phenomenal and incredible and a great decision. But yeah, they're still keeping dark green and athletic gold, which is just yellow. Those are their team colors. They've got, everything coming out of that, everything around it. Their previous primary logo was just an oval that had EE in it, right? Like,
yep.
Are they keeping that style of logo around as well with everything else?
I haven't seen it used in anything.
Okay. I think they've completely gotten rid of it.
I don't know.
It honestly might just be kind of getting away from that.
Yeah,
era,
looking at the in-depth article from sportslogos.net, written by Glenn Cook over there. It said that at a February press release, the club announced the 7 finalists for team names they had, and that their stated goal at the time was to find a new name that began with the letter E, so the team could continue to use its double E logo and retain its green and gold color scheme. And so I think good decision maintaining the color scheme. The old logo doesn't, like, it still works. It doesn't quite fit as well in the new branding they have, but like it makes it so, fans can wear, that merch and it doesn't have to be completely gone. I'm assuming they're going to be getting new, uniforms as well, or they could just, make minor changes or maybe not changes to their old uniforms. But either way, looking at the logos, the branding, and the team name, how do we feel about it?
Just another quick side note. I just found a tweet. I put it in our Google Doc if you want to take a look, or I can send it in our Slack or Discord.
Don't tell the listeners that. They can't open our Google Docs. We'll link the tweet in our notes or whatever.
I was gonna say, I'm telling you guys this so you can look at it right now. We can link it down there later. But there's a tweet that shows some merch and stuff. And for one, there's a shirt with the EE logo on it, but with their updated typeface, the like E from their word mark. So I'd assume that something like that is sticking around. And then what also looks to be jerseys, but that might just be the old jerseys with the new word mark on it. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what those are, but I wouldn't, and there's also no numbers on it, so I wouldn't take that as, definitive, like, anything.
No, it looks like they had some, looks like at their, so. Yeah, it looks like at their merchandise display, wherever they, and posted photos of it, looks like they had a blank jersey, but with no numbers, but it looks like it's the same as the jerseys they've had before. So you have kind of this slightly serifed Edmonton word mark with, a little bit across the chest, little bitty letters across the chest. I would assume they'd be updating that because that particular word mark is nowhere to be seen in their current branding. But who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. By the way, what stands out to us about this, and how do we feel about it overall? Cool. Nobody cares. Great. So
I was waiting for Bpoe to go. He went first last time.
Bpoe was
I was
clearly
waiting for you to go first this time because you.
Why did I have to switch? All right, I'll go. It's fine. Look,
don't get your antlers twisted.
I'm not going to complain about the name change because it was the right direction to go. And like in terms of the name, like I guess there's some history to it, so sure, whatever. Like I'm not a huge fan of the Elks name. It's whatever. But I know why they changed it, and that's fine. And like looking at their list of other names that they had considered, Elks is better than Elk Hounds, so I'll take it. Or Evergolds, I don't know what the hell that is, so I'll take it. In terms of the logo, I like that it's simplistic. I almost don't feel like it fits a football team, though, which is kind of concerning to me. But those helmets, oh, baby. I love those helmets. Oh, man. Like, there's some comparisons to it that, like, it's ripping off other football teams, but, like, it's different enough. Like, it's the only thing that it's ripping off is just the design idea of using it on the helmet. Like, it's like, oh, what about the Rams? Who cares about the Rams? They're in the NFL. We're not the NFL.
Okay, first off, putting a ram's horn on a helmet was like the very first helmet design, I think, by running back Fred Gerke in 1946. Put that on their helmets, and like they paid him $1 per helmet to paint them on. Like I don't know why I have that memorized, but I do. But either way, like if you can't, that's a completely different design. You can't say people are stealing something that wasn't invented in the 40s, though. Either like it's a concept.
People are gonna find things. People are gonna find things to complain about when the name is forcibly changed like this.
That's like saying that's like saying, oh, that team put their primary logo on their helmet. This other team already did that. You can't do that. It's like what?
No, you're right.
Yeah,
Like
I
if
hate the
you
idea that people have sometimes is that, like, whenever a team does something unique and cool, and then suddenly nobody else can do that. Like, I want to say like the chest stripe, because like whenever the Panthers came out with their jerseys, everybody's like, chest stripe, it's copying the Habs, and like, come on now. Or like the Penguins and the Bruins both wearing black and yellow. Like, that's two teams. How many teams in the league wear
Okay,
red, white, and
I'm
blue?
not
Like,
gonna
come
sit
on,
here
guys.
and listen to the guy wearing the Pittsburgh New York Rangers ripoff jersey defend this. Okay, listen. I don't know.
Hey,
Like
if the
overall, like
Rangers did it and they did it well, why can't other teams do it?
that's a fair point.
I mean, that's pretty much what I'm
Overall, like
arguing.
overall, like I'm happy with it. Like I don't think it's bad branding. Like I said, like I feel like the logo is a little too simplistic. I just don't feel like it fits like a football team vibe to me. That's only my opinion. But like I was saying, like people are gonna find things to complain about when it comes to teams that have to change their name because of things like this. Like even just reading the Twitter comments on the post when like you actually click one of these tweets in the article, like it's just disgusting some of the stuff. Because like I won't be buying because the name sucks. Well, congrats. Move on with your day. Like don't cheer for the team. So proud of you. Like, but overall, like those helmets are fantastic. Uh, I personally would like to see them change their uniform a little bit. I know they probably won't because it's the CFL, and like, why would they? But the helmets are an improvement, and I love that. And overall, the branding is good. It's okay.
Yeah, this one's interesting. The name I'm kind of split on. Like, it kind of works, it kind of doesn't. It might just be something we get used to. It feels like it rolls off the tongue a little awkwardly, but again, it's better than something that's kind of racially charged. The logo is kind of like Hunter said. It's weird, the simplistic styling of it, but it definitely fits better in the CFL than like the NFL, for example. It kind of reminds me of like the Alouettes' new logo, and that style of it. Um, so I don't
Another
hate
team
it.
that uses their logo really well on their helmet, though, too, right? Like,
Yeah, like I don't hate it at all. I guess it's just going to be interesting to see how that ages. The one thing that's really good that we haven't brought up is the alternate logo that takes that antler and takes it into the shape of a football. I love that secondary logo. That's a really good use of it. And again, as mentioned, the helmet is fantastic. And that's one cool thing about football for sure, that you can do things like that on the helmets. The Rams, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Elks now, things like that. That's one thing that I think it would be cool if more teams took advantage of. I'm not super into football, so I can't think of any of them off the top of my head, but I think that's the type of thing that you know it's a really cool detail that you can't really do in any other sport. We tried it in hockey a couple years ago, it didn't work. So
No, yeah, and I think like I can understand if people are upset if they like did like what a high school team does and just like lifted a design off of like some existing thing, just like they copied somebody else's antler or whatever. But like I don't think anyone else is.
yeah,
Not that I know of it. I mean, maybe some random college team somewhere has done something similar, but like not that I know of. Um, yeah, for me, I absolutely love this logo. I don't care what Hunter says, how it doesn't seem feel like it fits. Like it's a great logo, and I really love the style of it. We love the use of the
don't get
antler
me
on the helmet.
wrong. I love the logo. I'm not saying I hate the logo. I just don't feel like it fits the team. Like it's a good logo. I just don't feel like it fits a football team. That's all.
Yeah, and I think the
Anyway,
the word mark is effective. It works too. It's gonna be. It's again. It's nothing. It fits with the direction word marks have gone over the past 5-10 years. I would say just kind of a it looks like just an italic font, and but it's bold and it works well enough. It was interesting to me looking at the seeing their press release about how people wanted out of the 17 names that they narrowed down, the favorite was elk. It says that according to the Sports Logos article here, however, they added an S after quote lengthy debate and consultation with linguistics experts from the Oxford Dictionary and the University of Alberta's linguistics department. Because I don't know about you, but like apparently elk is one of those weird words where like elk can be plural, but then elks can
yep.
also be plural. And so it's just kind of like it's one of those things where it's like like we'll get used to it, but for us, there's like a split second in your mind where you're just like, wait, Elks, is that correct? Like is that what it's supposed to be? I mean,
Edmonton Elkii.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. We've solved it. We've solved all the world's problems. But yeah, it's gonna.
It needed to be the Edmonton Elks with a Z.
Oh,
I'm not comparing this in any way, but we're definitely going to. It's going to be like Toronto Maple Leafs, where it's it's wrong or it sounds wrong sometimes, but you're also going to be like you're going to be okay. Like you're going to get used to it, and it's going to be fine. Yeah, so I think they did a great job with their branding and with the execution of this. And again, you're giving a team that has history a completely new name, and like that's hard to do. And so respect to them for doing it really well.
There's one thing that's thrown me off a little bit about the logo, and I'm not sure if it's just me. What is the yellow thing in there? Is that like what is that? What is that supposed to be? I'm confused. Am I missing something?
Their chest? I don't know.
It almost just looks like the white part is the head, and then that's just kind of there.
I just thought it was. Oh no, it's a different shape.
It's like
I don't know.
In the shape of a football.
I literally just thought they had just filled in the color of like a shield shape or something behind it, but I just realized that it doesn't match the shape of the.
I mean, when I see it like one color when they have it painted on the field, it looks like just the chest of the elk.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe it's the different coloring that throws it off a little bit.
Maybe, yeah, but you shouldn't have a team logo that just omits one of your team colors.
Yeah, like I don't think that's the move either. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just throwing me off all of a sudden. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah. Well, either way, good logo, good branding, and yep, we're pretty proud. We're proud of you guys. CFL did something decently right.
Golf clap.
Gosh, there are so many. I mean, again, I'm not worried about the uniforms, but just like there are so many good CFL brands that have so much potential that just they do one little thing with their uniforms that just kind of ruins it. Like Winnipeg comes to mind for that for me. They have a great color scheme, a great striping that they can really embrace, and then they just like there's just some weird little things that go on. I think Hamilton's the only team that like does it where I can't complain very much.
I think the cool thing with at least with Edmonton's helmets again is that it's one of, I think, them and the Alouettes are the only two that use like secondary marks on their helmets, because the rest of the teams just have their basic primaries and they're all like super big and stupid looking. Like Winnipeg's is just a W, yay. Ottawa's is just an R, yay. Yeah. I don't know. It's nice to see,
but
it's nice to see a team have a little fun with their helmets designs, I guess, because the CFL's always had really boring looking helmets, so like it's cool.
Yeah. Okay, I think that'll wrap up our news discussion from the CFL and from the NHL. Bpoe. I was going to ask you what we had next, but I realized now I completely forgot something that we can talk about real quick.
I was like,
how about that draft logo?
Yeah, we have the NHL Draft Logo, which is a thing. And over the past, so looking back at previous draft logos, and again, thanks to Chris at Icethetics, we're kind of compiling all these. From 2010 to 2019, it was kind of just the same. It wasn't templated per se, but all the text was basically the same every single year. They just messed around. The 2021 was super generic because again everything was up in the air for that draft. And then the 2020,
also not to mention it happened pretty suddenly too that they had
that too.
Switch around. So
now we have the 2021 logo, which am I wrong in saying this feels like one of the new divisional logos?
I didn't think that until I saw one of the divisional
pretty
logos
much on brand.
right after that, and I'm like, yeah, that looks just like it.
Yeah, it's got like kind of a shield shape thing with a rectangle. I don't even know how to describe it. It just says draft, and there's a star in the middle of the A. It's a stencil-y kind of font. And yeah, it feels, it feels like a pretty generic draft logo. It's definitely more generic than the ones they've had in the past, but I don't entirely hate it, but it also feels like it's going to become a system, that they're just going to change the color and change the year from here on out. Like, it's not a bad logo, but it's definitely going to, remove the need for creating a completely new logo every year. Not that they had been, but just like, I don't know how I feel about it, because I do enjoy it. Like, it's way better than, like, like in the NFL, you have the Super Bowl logo. It's the same every year. It's better than that, I think. But it's still like, it's just kind of there. I'm not sure how much I care about this anymore, to be honest. You guys go say something.
It's a little bit of a generic logo for sure, and I think it looks pretty nice. I like the look of it. I think it's fine for this year. The generic, kind of template look makes sense for this year because it's online again. There's no host city to draw off of. And sure, I guess you probably could have gone a little bit more creative with it, but at the same time, it seems fitting. I think my biggest issue is going to be if this continues for longer than this year. I think if this is a one-off for this year, then that's fine. If they even use something similar to this and kind of go in the same style as the previous drafts, where they use like sort of a template and then add some elements for each city that it's hosted in, I'd be fine with that. I think the problem is if you just start doing kind of what the NFL does and just take the same exact logo, change maybe the color, change the year, and that's it. I think that's where the issue would come for me. But for what it is this year, it's okay. It looks nice, but it's nothing to write home about, nothing to complain too hard about, I don't think. And the more I look at it, the more it looks like the Kings Chevy logo too. The more I see that. Like, even though it's kind of just generic, like shield and text coming out of it, the outline looks so much like it to me.
Name a better duo than the Kings in generic. I got him.
Low key though, slightly off topic. This outline shape would be good for a modernized Kings Chevy logo. I'm not gonna lie, I really like the shape of that outline.
I'm watching Chris die a little inside us for talking about this. He's like, stop talking, shut up.
I mean, as long as it's got a giant crown somehow, then I can live with it. Make that a shoulder logo and use a crown.
Replace the NHL logo with a crown.
No, it's not what I. No, it's not. And it still says draft.
Just says Kings across
it.
It
says Kings. Oh no!
Use the same font. It says Kings, and then 2021 just says like LA, and then the gray becomes
God,
the gray becomes white, and the gray will stay gray, I guess, and the red will become white.
Purple, or the forum blue.
I mean, if we want to throw purple and gold in there, which I would,
Hunter, just give your stupid opinion so we can move on.
I'm gonna keep now, but
I'm gonna keep my opinion quick on this one because
just like
the division logos, I don't really care. Like the draft logos are always fun to see when they come out, but like at the end of the day, I don't really care what they look like. They're really generic, like you guys said. It's a little disappointing, kind of go back to these two generic logos the last 2 years. I know why they did them, but I really felt like the templated versions that they were doing were kind of hitting their stride a little bit in terms of like city aesthetic and stuff like that. But change is always good, especially when it comes to logos that, in my opinion, don't really matter. I'm just waiting to see people in the comments complain about it like it's a big deal. So, I've already seen people like, "Oh, this logo sucks," like blah blah blah. It's like, who cares? Like,
honestly, like looking at it, they've been using this template for 10 years now. I feel like 10 years kind of makes sense to be like, all right, it's time to move on.
I want to see it. Like, there's a part of me that wants to see them go back to like the years before they started doing the template, where they had a little fun with the logos based on the city where the draft was. But like, at the same time, that's a lot of time to invest into a logo that's literally going to be up for 1 day, 2 days, and then never used again, right?
I wouldn't say a day, but like, you've kind of got a week or a month of promoting it beforehand too. But still, yeah. And also, like, there is some brand consistency to, keep in mind when it comes to having the somewhat templated version. Again, I don't think it's a good thing to go full templated. I don't think it's good to go full template with, like, the NFL style or NBA style, but a little bit of consistency in there, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. I think they did
the
it
thing
well
for
the
me
last
is
10
like
years.
outside of the city that it's in, like the only thing that needs to be consistent is that it says draft and it has the NHL logo on it. Like,
Yeah.
like the NHL doesn't need that. The NHL doesn't have any branding that it needs to have consistent. We didn't need to change it so that the lettering was all silver to match the logo and things like that. Like the Ottawa logo from 2008 was kind of neat because it was like really on brand with Ottawa, and all it needs to say is NHL Draft. Or like the Carolina one from 2004 is cool because it's literally the logo, and I don't know. I think they should have a little more fun with it, but also at the same time, like I said, I don't care because it's a draft logo.
I've got a better idea. Wherever the draft is,
hit me.
Wherever the draft is, they just take whatever team is there. They take their primary logo, and they fill it all in with one team color, and then they just slap the NHL logo and the word draft and the year inside of that.
It's perfect. No, you don't even need to fill.
You don't even
need to fill in the color. Just put the word draft on top of it, and in Comic Sans.
No, you can't just use the team logo. You need to fill it in, so it's just a shape, and then.
No, just use the team logo.
No, just take the Maple Leafs logo and it says Toronto NHL Draft.
Okay, Bpoe, lead us out of here. Let's move on. What's the time for?
It is time for some trivia. We have
Trivia.
For a while. We've gotten some questions.
Trivago.
No, we're not sponsored yet.
Me.
Trivago, please sponsor us. I forget what you do, but like, please sponsor. I think you do travel stuff. I don't even. Just please sponsor us. We want free vacation or whatever you'd give. I don't know what you give us, but every episode we're gonna shout out a random company and tell them to sponsor us.
Day 45 of yelling random companies until they sponsor us.
hey, little Debbie, we'll eat your nasty snack cakes if you sponsor.
Why did I think you were going in a different direction? We're gonna
wait a minute.
I think I've been watching too many YouTube videos lately of like Guess the Rapper from.
I can't wait till the Montreal Expo sponsor us.
Hey, White Castle, give us burgers. I don't live anywhere near a White Castle, but give us burgers. Hey, 7-Eleven, I'll eat one of your nasty meat dogs that you have sitting in the gas station all day on air if you sponsor us. I don't know, like, how desperate are we?
Depends on the price, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of things I'd do for $1 million. Let's be honest.
Let's not go into that, and let's move on to.
Let's not.
That's the ultimate trivia question. Burkus asks, "What would you do for $1 million?"
Yeah,
right, hit us.
I'd rather not have to censor things out of the podcast. So let's just continue on with actual trivia questions. Good, family-friendly, healthy trivia question.
So, question 1 from the aforementioned Burkus Circus.
He gets every question every time.
Of the Big Four sports leagues, there are 6 pairs of teams that share the same name. For example, the Houston Oilers and the Edmonton Oilers used to be number 7. What are the remaining 6? I have a hint for you as well if you guys need it, but for now,
okay,
we're just gonna roll with that.
Let's work together on this one because this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out the first obvious one, and that's Jets, because New York NFL, Winnipeg NHL.
The Rangers, Texas, and New York.
Ooh, there you go.
That's two of them.
Giants, New York NFL, San Francisco baseball, which is funny because the baseball team used to be called the New York Giants, and that's why the football team is the New York Football Giants unofficially, but now they're just not. Either way.
Yep.
Gigantes.
So that's
right,
3.
I feel like I have to think like basketball. Oh, it's Kings, Sacramento basketball, LA hockey.
There's 4.
How many do we need? 6, you said?
There's
6. So you guys are only missing 2. You guys are actually getting this pretty quickly.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm trying not to look up a list of team names or anything. I'm trying to just think off the top of my head. Oh boy, what teams have like super generic names? That's what I'm trying to think of right now. Because I mean, there's some teams that just like like Red Sox. Like there's no other team's gonna be the Red Sox. Like no, like that's not gonna happen. Oh, Cardinals, duh. Arizona football, formerly St. Louis, formerly Chicago, and then St. Louis baseball. Yeah, that's a fun one. I feel like it's another bird for the last one.
Do you think so?
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of birds that everybody shares, St. Louis Eagles and Philadelphia.
Well, out of what you guys have guessed already, there is only one bird, so I don't know.
Which ones have we gotten so far? Just as a refresher.
Cardinals, Giants, Jets, Kings, and Rangers.
Panthers. Boom.
There it
Florida, NHL, and NFL, Carolina. Okay. Woohoo! That was pretty fun. That was pretty good.
That was a good
you guys
one.
got that pretty quickly.
Yeah, that was not bad.
The hint was just what leagues they were paired in. So 3. And I guess it's a fun fact now afterwards. So there's 3 NHL and NFL pairs, 2 NFL and MLB pairs, and 1 MLB and NHL pair. So there we go.
There you go.
Did you say NBA at all in those?
No, actually, NBA is not in there at all. It looks like.
So then, was Kings?
Is there really no NBA team that shares any? Oh wait, no.
No, King. We said Kings. Was that an extra one? Though?
Is it? Maybe it. Okay, hold on.
He said Big Four. You said Big Four, right?
3, 2
leagues.
Yeah, maybe there might have been a typo in there. So hold on. Cardinals is NFL MLB, right?
Yes.
And then.
Did we get all 6 answers that were provided
MLB.
to us?
Yes. Giants is MLB, or not MLB. Yeah, MLB and NFL, right? I'm just curious now. Jets
I guess.
NHL, NFL. Panthers is NHL, NFL. Kings is NBA, NHL.
Yeah.
And then Rangers is NHL,
MLB. Yeah.
So we've got 1, 2... Looks like 2 baseball, football, 2 hockey, football, 1 hockey, baseball, and 1 hockey, basketball. It looks like.
Interesting. I guess good job by the NBA by not having any stealable names.
Having many, only 1, the Kings.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other. Considering you guys didn't bring any up, I'm assuming that's all of them, and there was probably just a typo in there somewhere. So
must be.
All right.
Next question. There are some NBA names you feel like would be in other leagues, like Grizzlies or what's another one? Not Nets. That's stupid. Not Pacers. Stupid name.
Lakers, obviously.
Hawks.
Bulls,
Hawks is a generic one. Yeah, Bulls and Hawks. You feel like those would be elsewhere, but no.
Yeah, Hornets.
Good on them.
Hawks for
Well, I'm dumb. I was literally about to say, wait, isn't Atlanta's NFL team called the Hawks? Nope. Both of their teams are called the Hawks.
That would be stupid and crazy.
You know what I'm surprised isn't a name for another sport in some other city? The 76ers.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not.
Pittsburgh 76ers, obviously. Duh.
Okay, and Hunter, before you hurt anybody else, let's move on.
All right, we've got one more two-part question. I guess we'll put it that way.
Let's do it.
First part, and this question was submitted by Gwinnett Graphics. Sometimes it's hard to tell because we all change our names on Discord all the time, so I have to click on their profile and be like, who is that? Is that who I think it is? Right now, he's Hank Yarbo on Discord. So, the question. The Vegas Golden Knights were one of the only teams to compete for the feat of making the Stanley Cup final in their inaugural season. Only 2 other teams were able to complete this. Who were they?
In their inaugural season.
Yeah, and this is Stanley Cup final, so NHL.
I was going to say, so who made the 1920 finals? I guess that's... I don't know. I have no idea of that one. Because I feel like at least one of them has to be a long, long time ago. Oh, shoot. The one has to be 1967. St. Louis Blues, right?
Yep, you got that one.
Yeah, because they set it up that year. So one conference was expansion teams, and one conference was the original 6. And so...
Wait, did the Panthers make the Cup final their first year, or was that a couple of years after? Because I know they're a team that everybody talks about where they're like, oh, they made the Cup final so quickly, and then they never did anything again after that.
Yeah, it wasn't their inaugural season.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was a couple years. But it did come to mind for me, so you're not crazy.
Oh, good.
Okay, yeah. The super successful Cup final making Columbus Blue Jackets.
Ooh. Wow. That came out of nowhere.
That'd be even funnier if Burkus asked this question.
Oh, boy.
No. The question was who made the Cup final their inaugural year, not who hasn't made the playoffs ever since they existed.
Rude. They beat Toronto and then did nothing after. So.
Oof. I mean, beating Toronto isn't really hard. Montreal just did it.
Dang. Force of habit. No.
Dang.
I'll give you guys a hint for the next
it has to be a super old, like 20s or 40s thing, right?
Yeah, you're on the right track, Chris. It was 1917. So.
I was gonna say, geez. So.
It's the Ottawa Senators, obviously.
Actually, now that I think about it, I'd suppose both teams in the finals that year technically would have been.
But one of them obviously doesn't exist anymore. Because the only team that was around at that time that still has their same name is the Montreal Canadiens. But then you had the Toronto Arenas and the.
So it's Montreal then.
Else is it the Montreal Canadiens?
Although,
but did they make it that year?
I mean, like some of the teams that were in the NHL that year, like the Canadiens have history going back like the earlier 1900s, just in different leagues. So I guess I don't know if we want to count that.
Yeah, but their NHL history began. So who made the cut?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say, okay. Both Hunter.
You don't got that many options if you just want to.
No, I was gonna say both. I think both Hunter and I should give one final guess for 1917.
Sure.
And okay, my guess is going to be the Maple Leafs franchise, the Toronto Arenas. Hunter, what's your guess? Without looking anything up, what are you typing? I hear you typing there.
I just want to see what teams existed in 1917.
No, that's not fair. No, do not do that.
I'm still sticking with my Sens. I'm still sticking with my Sens answer. I don't know.
Oh, it's gonna be Montreal now.
With the Sens answer. Nope, it was the Arenas.
Yeah.
And also, disclaimer: these answers. I haven't researched the answers. These answers are coming from
Boom, stupid Toronto.
And Gwinnett for this one. So if it's wrong, don't blame me. Blame them. Just kidding.
Stupid Toronto.
Everybody join our Discord and Attack.
Whenever something doesn't go your way, if something doesn't go your way, what social media has taught me that you need to personally attack these people and their families. That's how you do it.
It's cool that a Toronto franchise made the finals in their first year and that did nothing after.
I mean, hey, they won a cup in 1967.
We don't talk about that.
All right.
Good old Toronto. Good old Toronto. Naming your first team
as
after
someone
to good old Toronto naming their first team after the place where teams play now, and now their team is named after literal just plant leaves.
Not that I want to. I mean, as a Sens fan, I want to keep putting on the Leafs because obviously, but isn't it sad that the only cup in Leafs history that matters is that '67 one now because it's been so long since they've won one.
Okay, Bpoe, close us out.
Right. Second part of the question, and it's kind of like a follow-up. So, along with that, Vegas also became the 6th team in NHL history to reach the Cup final in its first postseason appearance. Not first season, but first postseason appearance. Ooh. Including the Arenas and the Blues, there are 3 more that, again, reached the Cup final in their first postseason appearance. Which 3 are those?
I feel like now's a good time to say the Florida Panthers.
Yep. You guys are talking about that earlier. I'm like, yep, you guys are getting that one soon.
All right. But I wasn't sure if it was their first postseason or not, but it seemed like, people talk about it as it was a magical run, and it was. So there's 3 more now?
2 more.
2 more.
2 more. So there are only 5 total.
The list, there's 6 total, I guess. The list reads of teams that reached a Cup final in its first postseason.
Oh, you're including Vegas.
Vegas, the Arenas, the Blues, the Panthers, and the 2 more that you guys haven't.
Do the 2 other teams that are on this list currently exist?
One does, one doesn't.
Oh, that didn't help.
I'm not sure if I even care about this, but I made the Cup final in their first postseason.
Yeah. If you guys eventually need a hint, I'll give it to you. But
yeah, you know what? I'm tired. Let's do this.
I can take one. Yeah.
They were both quite a long time ago. They were both in the 20s.
Gosh, dang it! All right, I'm just gonna say.
Okay, well then, wait. If it's the 20s, then it's got to be the Habs, then, right? No, because they were they were around for a while. So yeah, exactly. What was another team that was?
The Montreal. Freaking no!
Not first season, but first postseason appearance.
Exactly. So Montreal Wanderers and the Boston Bruins. I don't know.
You got the Bruins, 1927, the Boston Bruins.
Hey.
That's the one that exists.
Oh my gosh! All right, Hunter, get the other one. I'm sick of this.
That's a lot to put on me. I don't know.
Just keep throwing out old team names that you've heard of.
That I've heard of. The St. Louis Eagles.
Yeah, the St. Louis Eagles of 1926.
The Philadelphia Quakers.
Nope.
New York Americans.
Montreal Maroons. There you go. You got it.
Really?
Hey.
Oh, I said Wanderers, not Maroons. Dang it.
1926. You were hovering right around that, Chris.
The Montreal Expos, you should have said. That's New Jersey. That's New Jersey.
So that's part 2 of the question, and that is all I've got right now.
Woo! Okay. Yep, I think that was a pretty successful episode. I mean, a Stadium Series leak, a new sports team brand and logo and name, covered a lot of stuff there. And again, we're hoping to get these out more consistently as we can. And let us know what you think. Subscribe to the podcast, rate, follow, whatever. Give us feedback as to what you like about what we're doing, what you want to see more of, what you want us to change. And in the meantime, keep a lookout on our socials for whatever we're doing next. Go buy our
just recording a podcast. How about you?
Go buy whatever merch we have on Redbubble.
That was almost
We
the
do.
episode he didn't get to say it.
I did kind of say it with the dog. Whenever Chris had his dog earlier, but kinda. I realized at that point, I was like, I didn't say it in the intro like I usually do. I forgot because of all the hype around that Stadium Series leak. So
yeah.
Yep, check out our Redbubble
you know what? Let's throw it in the outro. Why not?
Bpoe, I'm trying to promote our merchandise so people give us money.
Just promoting our merchandise. How about you?
We do have some new merchandise on our Redbubble store, including a Just Recording a Podcast
Chris,
t-shirt. Yeah, so go check that out. Watch us on YouTube, watch the podcast there. Do whatever you want. Join our Discord, interact with the community and all our followers there. And yeah, we're gonna be getting some good content.
If you have your own trivia questions and mailbag questions to submit, put them in the Discord. That's where we got it.
Yep, exactly. And anyway,
Discord.
Keep jerseying, and we're keep nerding as long as there's not too much Discord between us. Ha ha ha! Get it? No? Okay, cool. Anyway, hopefully we didn't have any technical difficulties in this one.
How about you?
Ha ha ha. Yep, and happy summer, everybody. Congrats on anybody's, if you're graduating or anything, or if you're starting a new job or something, good job, Bpoe. You did a school. Good job.
And anybody else in school, congratulations on getting through the year. You're probably done now, if not soon. So
yeah, so Bpoe, what? It's going to be an aside thing. What grade were you in when you started on the podcast years ago?
Ooh, off the top of my head, I think it might have been 10th grade.
Yeah, and now.
So.
Jeez,
I think that lines up. Yeah, It was either not. It might have been 9th grade because it was March 2015. Ooh, when did I? Hold on.
Our good old Bpoe growing up. It's funny because you've been here longer than.
No, I think it would have been 9th grade. I'm just trying to think because I thought the Penguins won the Stanley Cup. Oh wait, no.
We don't care that much. 10th. Anyway.
Yeah.
My whole point is that
certain things like that to the Penguins won the cup in 2016. I was in my junior year.
It hurts my feelings that in 2015 he was still in high school because I had graduated high school for like 3 years at that point.
And now I've graduated college, and you're still taking classes.
Wait, am I the Steve now? Am I the old man? No, I don't like. I quit. I'm out here.
Okay, anyway, Bpoe, now acting as our admin, started on the HJC Jersey News podcast or that content in 10th grade, and now he just finished college. Oh, isn't that so cute? So
golf claps.
Yep. So for the remaining
moves fast, man.
So for the remaining two of us, since Hunter just quit, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a great week, everyone.
Just hitting the stop button. How about you?
The Jersey Nerds podcast is a production of Jersey Nerds Media. The Jersey Nerds are Bpoe, Hunter, Justin, Chris, and sometimes Steve. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at @the_Jersey Nerds, and hit that link in our bio to find our blog, our Discord channel, our online store, and more. And be sure to rate, comment, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to us. We really appreciate it. From the Jersey Nerds to you, thanks for just listening to a podcast. How about you?